PQD, and of course, it's a huge milestone for us, for the Toastmasters Club of Pune South, the 258th meeting. So yes, we've got the PQD, DTM, Dr. Shakil all set to go across and say hello to all the members. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. At least digitally, can you acknowledge and say hello to me? Yes. All right. All right. We've also got the ever smiling, the person that puts everybody on place on the planet, and our district director, man. All right, people, if you remember when the pathways first started, all right, a couple of years ago, there were just 10 pathways, right? There were 10 of them. And on much later on, the 11th one came in. And that was after much thought that they said it's not serious business, Toastmasters, but we also need to have enjoyment. And they got in the 11th pathway, and that was called engaging humor. So, when Joe starts joking, because that's a wonderfully put title, we know that we are in store for a lot of laugh. And of course, enlightening on how to get people on our side. Because humor does work. It's the toughest thing on the planet, let me tell you, to make people laugh. We've got Joe in here. And of course, I'm delighted to do his introduction. Okay, he's the founding president of Backpackers Toastmasters Club. The Toastmasters of the year 2023. Twice tall tales of winner. So I'm sure Joe is almost like 6 feet in height. District evaluation contest, first winner, runner-up, and the division table topics, first runner-up in 2022. Joe, I'm sure you're all excited. We'll take whatever joking that you have in our stride. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to warm up for someone that's going to touch our funny bones. Please, let's make some noise, and please help me welcome the ever versatile Joe King. Rajan. That's a lovely smile. You put everything in place. The spotlight's on you. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lancy, fellow Toastmasters, district officers, friends, with the videos on, without the videos. Welcome everyone for the Just Joking session. We will not keep it as an education session. Let's make it as a workshop so that it is interaction. One of the toughest moments in all of our life is the post-lunch session, right? So we are here just immediately after lunch. So let's keep it interactive. And it would be wonderful if your videos are on so that we can see your smiles, laughters. Would love to see your reactions also virtually or even in the chat box. Okay, so let's begin with a quick thought, a question for all of you. How many of you are here in this session right now with a belief or a hope that you will become a better humorous speaker after this session? You can raise your hands, you can virtually or raise your hands, you can put it in the chat box at me, so with the videos all off and no reactions, I will not get. Okay? The question is like, how many of you believe that you feel that you will become a better humor speaker after this session? Wow, I can see a lot of hands. Maybe some of them are raising hands with the video off. Thank you for that also. Perfect. So many of you believe that you will become a better humorous speaker after the session. Wonderful. You can give yourselves a round of applause. This is the first joke of the day. Seriously, 1 hour you attend a humorous session and suddenly become a humorous speaker. No, don't worry. I was just joking. It will help us to understand a few nuances of humorous speech, which we can implement in our future speeches. It is like going to a gym for 1 day and expecting 6 packs. Right? Every year, around August, September, all the Toastmasters wants to be suddenly, all of a sudden, overnight, they want to be humorous. The rest of the day, that's okay. So just like a workout, just like a habit, just like an exercise, humor should be part of your everyday speech. In fact, every speech of yours, it can be part of your ISC, it can be part of your table topics, it can be part of even your evaluations. Every club speech can have a little bit of humor. Even your icebreaker can have a bit of humor. So that is how we work out humor every day. And eventually, when it's a humorous speech contest, we get that six packs. Otherwise, you'll be like me only. You'll get only family pack. All I have is a family.
Listen to me. Don't listen to me. When it's not listening, you will get a
Yes,
punishment.
yes. I am listening. Somebody wants me to listen. Hope all of you are listening to. Okay. So I was just joking. Let's get into the session by understanding a few factors purely based on of my experience. This is not like a winning formula, or this is not like the only way to win. A lot of them ask, like when it comes to humorous speech, what is that winning formula? This is the answer. You win, and then whatever you say becomes the formula. But how to win? Let's go through that. Before we get into the techniques of how to create a humorous speech or how to deliver a humorous speech, let's break a few myths when it comes to humorous speech contest. So this is something in terms of our thinking. First, we'll have to change our approach so that we become a better humorous speaker in terms of even thinking about a speech. First myth. I have two pictures for you here on the screen. It will pop up on the screen. You will have to find 6 differences. This is an activity which you would have done all through our life, right? So there'll be 2 images. We'll have to find 6 differences. So you can unmute and say, or you can put it in the chat box. Let's see. You'll have to find 6 differences between these 2 pictures.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, somebody said something. You can unmute and say, or you can put it in the chat box. Let's keep it interactive. I can hear somebody saying something, but it didn't.
This reminds me of Indo.
It reminds, okay, you just find 6 differences. That's it. Forget Hindu for now. Just think of Joe right now. That's okay. Okay, beard, clothing. Okay, chat box looks more easier. A mustache is different. Okay, clothing is different. A different beard. Thank God nobody is still talking with me. Hair expressions are different. Okay, nice. More than looks like hair, shirt, beard, background, age. Okay, looks like more than 6 differences. Looks like this will run as an activity for the next 1 hour. I don't need to conduct the session. Okay, done. The session is done. Find the differences till 3 o'clock and we are done. Okay, I'm sure. Wow, so much of those observations. I'm smiling with the teeth showing, without the teeth, no smile. Okay, great. Wonderful. Just like how we did this exercise, now the next task is to break the myth of finding the differences between, not necessarily 6, but let's just identify the difference between a humorous speech contest in Toastmasters versus stand-up comedy. What do you think are the 6 differences? Or as many differences as you can. You can put it in the chat box, you can say differences between a humorous speech contest in Toastmasters versus a stand-up comedy. No difference? You can unmute and say, or you can put it in the chat box. So if you're thinking that, if you came to the session thinking that, okay, there'll be some bald guy will come and speak, all I need to do is keep my video, audio and off and just listen. I will make you to keep speaking.
One thing, humorous speech must have an objective, a key message for the audience. Then
message for the audience.
Stand-up comedy. That's one difference.
Okay. Shreyas has put it as wonderfully humorous story versus a series of one-liners. Great. So a lot more answers are coming. Okay, I thought there is no response, but then just now I realized that they've been typing a full-length essays, and that is the reason it was taking time. Okay, let's go through that. Humorous speech isn't like just a 5 to 7 minutes of continuous laughter. So that is what Kunal says. Okay, Omkar feels stand-up comedy, the sole purpose is to make the audience laugh, whereas in HSC there should be a takeaway also in a fun way. Stand-up comedy is pure entertainment. Okay, so nice. Different Saurabh, yeah, you don't need to raise your hands. You can just put your answer across. You can unmute and speak, or you can just put it in the chat box. Yeah, raise your hands.
The humorous speech contest has certain guidelines, which
Okay.
the stand-up comedy does not.
Okay. There are no guidelines, and stand-up comedy, no guidelines, and Toastmasters has some, or humorous speech has some guidelines, right?
Yes.
In humorous
In what?
speech, emphasis is on speech, narrating in a humorous way. In stand-up comedy, it could be an expression, need not to be a speech.
Okay. Not necessarily a speech, it is just an expression or series of one-liners. There's no story. In short, like there is no story mostly in a stand-up comedy, right? So there
Yeah,
is no,
need not
it
be
is
a
just
story.
correct. So it's just a series of one-liners versus when it comes to a humorous speech in Toastmasters, there will be one-liners, there can be one-liners, but it is all weaved into a story. That's a huge difference between a stand-up comedy and a humorous speech. And in one line, if you want to summarize that, in Toastmasters, we say, right? So we don't speak on sex, politics, and religion. And in stand-up comedy, they speak only on that. So that's also one way to because so it need to be clean jokes and still make sure that audience are laughing. There were a couple of responses like stand-up comedy is just pure entertainment, just for fun, and humorous speech need to have a message. Probably sometimes as Toastmasters we get a little too much carried away with a message. There can be a message, but just still a quick one-line message. That's it. We don't need to go overboard with a message. There can be a takeaway, but just a quick one line, or maybe a 30 seconds out of the 7 minutes should be enough for a message. Not necessary to go overboard with the message. In a humorous speech, also in Toastmasters, can be a full length humorous speech where every moment you're giving them an opportunity to laugh. That is absolutely fine. But just that it should be in form of a story and not some random jokes here. So that's one huge difference. So that is a myth we have broken. So next myth is in terms of something we will again do it as an activity. All of you know this guy, right? Rahul Dravid. Is there anybody who doesn't know? I'm sure all of you know him. If not for his cricketing stats, I don't want his cricketing records. I just want to understand from you when you look at him or when you see him in terms of him as a person, as a human being, what comes to your mind? What are the thoughts? What are the impressions which comes to your mind when you think of
Very
Rahul
patient,
Dravid?
very polite.
Polite, patient. Wow. Anything else? That's it. Polite, patient, disciplined, a mature
Consistent.
leader, consistent, and not about performance, just as a human being, probably very soft spoken also.
Yes.
So many of us might be also believing the same. I am by nature a person who's not humorous, I'm very soft spoken. I'm not that expressive. How do I deliver a humorous speech? Let's break the myth.
I know this sounds ridiculous. It's like saying Rahul Dravid has anger issues.
Hey! That doesn't mean you can overtake. Come, man. Come. You come, man. Hey!
Could have gone straight and taken it.
इंदिरानगर का गूंडा हूं मैं.
He just said, no, Rahul Dravid is so patient, soft spoken, right? No anger issues. Right? What we just witnessed is like completely a surprise version of a Rahul Dravid, right? So if you ever feel that by nature I'm not a humorous person, this is during that 7 minutes, this is the mode you'll have to get into. You need to get into a mode, believe that yes, even if I am by nature a soft spoken like a Rahul Dravid, I can still push myself, challenge myself to do it or bring in some kind of a drama, animation into my speech, because this adds a lot of value, or even it amplifies your speech apart from all the script. Script is in terms of the jokes, right? But delivery also matters. This is the next myth. Like, if I'm not a humorous person, how do I actually deliver the speech? You can still do it. You just need to believe push yourselves, challenge yourself. In fact, many years back when I started my journey as a humorous speaker also, I am a strong believer of someone with a lot of jokes in the script, humor. I wasn't someone who was animated, expressive, but in the due course of contesting, I realized that is not just enough. You got to be a little more emotive. That was not my natural style. I had to get to this version of Rahul Dravid to bring those elements to amplify the jokes. So that is the next myth. And the third
I
and
know this sounds
final myth, I have no humorous or hilarious things which has happened in my life. How do I still come up with a topic which is humorous? What do you see on the screen? A funeral, right? Somebody is dead, a sad moment. Ideally, a sad moment. Who knows? At one stage, a few years back, it was one of the most viral videos. What did they all do? Just dance for a funeral. It's a funeral dance, right? They're just dancing, and it became such a viral video. Anything around us, any situation, anything happening around us can be a topic for a humorous speech. Recently, one of my friends just texted me saying that a Toastmaster friend texted me saying that she broke her leg, she fractured her leg. So instant response should have been like, "Oh, how are you? Are you feeling better?" My instinct, I mean, my first reaction was, "Wow, wonderful topic for your next humorous speech." That was my initial reaction. And then I asked, okay, how are you feeling now? How is your leg? So anything which is happening in your life can be a humorous speech script. Never think that you will get a 7-minute situation which will happen in front of your eyes and then you will put it into a speech. These situations which is happening around you could be just a spark, just an incident, just a conversation at work, in your family, with your kids, with your somebody can deliver a speech telling that I'm married and this is how a married man's life is, versus somebody can still use the same situation and say, I'm still single, I'm not married. And that could be the reason for the humorous speech. It could be about your boss, children, wife, whatever. Anything around you, anything under the sun can be a topic for a humorous speech. So don't think that, okay, nothing humorous has happened in my life, so that I cannot participate in humorous speech. No. Just look around, just that we got to be a little more observant. Just need to, as I said, you don't get that 7-minute humorous speech in front of you. You will get these sparks. You'll have to just convert that into a speech. So if you had listened to my district speech on the speech is about hair loss. So in this speech, I use a prop, which is a wig. There are two wigs which I use, a curly haired wig and then a long hair. It's a women's hair. So these are two wigs which I use. So when I had to go to a shop to buy this wig, there were a couple of funny things which happened. That's it. It is just a 30 seconds of conversation. If I need, I can convert that into my next humorous speech. Just the experience of buying a wig at a shop. So this is actually an incident which happened when I'm buying a prop for one of my humorous speech. I don't have a lot of hair, but at least I have a little bit of hair. But just for the speech, since it is about hair loss, to make it look more authentic, I made sure that I shave my hair with whatever little hair I have. So the day before the contest, when I go to the salon and ask them that I want to shave my hair, for around 30 seconds, he was looking at my head. What to shave with hair? What is there to shave? That is enough. That's enough for me to make one more humorous speech. So the preparation for that district humorous speech, in the course of that journey, there were multiple incidents which I could convert into. Each of those incidents, I could convert it into a humorous speech. That is the way you need to look at it. Anything happening around us can be a humorous speech. So we have broken the myth that you may not be a humorous person, you can still deliver a human speech. There are n number of incidents happening around you. Just make it into a story as a humorous speech, which the inserted jokes which you can put in, you can still deliver a humorous speech. And of course, another myth is like it's not a series of one-liners, but we need to have a story. There should be a story. Only then it is regarded as a humorous speech contest in Toastmasters. So with the myths broken, let's get into the elements of a humorous speech contest. All you need for a humorous speech is me. That's it. You have me. If I'm with you, then you win the humorous speech contest. No, I'm just joking. The Joey here is just an acronym. We all love acronyms, right? So TMORE, PKD, like that. We all love the acronyms. So that's that I've come up with an acronym so that we can easily remember. Let's first quickly look into what these acronyms are, the expansion of these acronyms, and then we will deep dive into each of these elements to understand it in detail. Of course, being a humorous speech, your script should have a lot of jokes. We will get into in details on how we can create or make these jokes. And a very powerful opening is critical. The first 30 to 45 seconds is critical. That will set the tone for your remaining 7 minutes. You spend the first 30 seconds or 1 minute just addressing everyone, Toastmasters, contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, right? My neighbor's wife and their dog, and then the dog's neighbor, right? So you just address everyone in the world and you spend 1 minute in that, or you think, okay, so let me just start about it, and then maybe after 1 minute I will start with my first joke. Your best joke should come in the first 20 to 30 seconds. That will set the tone. What will happen is laughing is contagious. So many of us might have a thought, like when you prepare for humorous speech, what if my audience don't laugh? Right? Many of us would have had a thought. Even I have had a thought. It's not like they don't want to laugh. Imagine it's a humorous speech contest, the audience all waiting to listen to humorous speakers, the contestants. Do you think anybody will come there with a mindset that, okay, let them tell the jokes, but I will not laugh? I'm a serious guy. I will not laugh. They're coming there with the expectation that you will make them laugh. It's not like they are not laughing. It's just that we didn't give them enough opportunities to laugh. And so when it comes to jokes, we will talk about that too. That should be as many jokes as you can every minute. 7 minutes speech, right? So every minute, how many jokes can you give them? So that will laughter moments. How many laughter moments are you giving them in each minute? So totally in 7 minutes. So the tone is set with the opening, a powerful opening. Just like the opening, the ending. Remember, trust me, nobody would remember the whole speech. Nobody has the capacity to remember the entire speech. They will remember the opening. They will remember how you ended the opening, the entire speech. A couple of one-liners which you used in the speech. These are the things which they will remember. All the first three is in terms of the script. The second E here is the delivery part. Every single cell of your body should speak. Let your eyes, nose, ears, hair, if you have, like kidney, intestine, let heart, everything speak. Every single cell of your body should speak. Use your body in a way that that amplifies the joke. I will share a few examples how it goes along with the script, but it just amplifies it. You don't need to do something extra. It just goes along with the script. And the final E, the most important part, the objective of delivering a humorous speech is to entertain your audience. Forget about winning the contest or winning the trophy. All that will eventually happen if your motive, if your objective is to entertain your audience. I have 7 minutes in my hand. How much can I entertain my audience? That is the core element you'll have to keep in mind. If that objective is set when you're preparing for the speech and when you're rehearsing, I'm sure on the stage during that 7 minutes, you will come up with as many aspects or you will do anything to entertain your audience. and which eventually will bring the laughter moments, which would eventually help you to win the contest too. So look at ways of how to entertain your audience. Now let's go back to the jokes. It's easy to say that we need to have a lot of jokes in our speech, but how do we create these jokes? Where are these jokes from? So let's look at a few techniques for that. And here we will again get into that workshop mode. I will share the techniques. I would want you to give it a shot. What is your take on it? How do you think you can use this technique? And then I'll share my thoughts also into it, and that's how we'll be able to practice, because there isn't much. I will tell you how my opening and ending was in a few occasions. We will share that later, but now let's get into the jokes. A few techniques which we can use to come up with some good jokes in our speech. And as I said, let's try it. Let's do it as a workshop practice. Power of pauses. A very, very impactful way in which you can deliver the joke. That is, if you have a joke in a sentence, in a line, if you have written, it's not like every word in that line is a joke, right? There will be a joke, which one word or two words in that entire line, which would be the key word or the key element in the entire line. Just before the joke, just before saying the joke, a little bit of pause, which makes the audience think, and then deliver the joke. It again amplifies the intensity in which it reaches the audience. And also, the perfect timing of jokes is also important. There was once a guy who said, he was delivering a motivational speech. He said, the best moment of my life is when I have spent with another man's wife. Everybody started looking at each other, staring at the speaker, and then he said, and that's my mother. After a pause, he said, that's my mother, and everybody realized, oh, we tricked him. And then they laughed, they clapped. And one guy listening to that wanted to implement the same. So he went back home, called his wife, and he said, the best moment in my life is when I spent with another man's wife. And he ended up giving a pretty long pause. So by the time he could complete the next part of the sentence, he was already admitted in the ICU. So the timing of the joke, the timing of the pauses is critical. Anybody would like to give it a shot? Anybody would like to try pause a sentence where the joke, or just by using a pause, you are delivering a joke? You would have already tried it in any of your speeches, or maybe you have it right now. If you're thinking, just give it a shot. It's okay if you don't have, but just give it a shot. Anybody would like to try? We will just use it as an example.
So, Toastmaster Raghavendra here.
Yes, Raghavendra.
So, looking at current tomatoes prices, not onion, while cutting tomatoes, it brings tears to the eyes.
Okay. So looking at the prices of tomatoes.
Yes.
Right now, even while cutting tomatoes
brings tears to the eyes.
Okay. So anybody else? So good attempt, Raghavendra, wonderful attempt. Anybody would like to take a review this? So how do you think the power of pauses were used here? Or how do you think we could, let's use this as an example. How do you think we can rephrase it or deliver it in a way where it becomes more humorous? So there is an attempt to humor here, right? But how do we make it more humorous? Or what could be done to this line to make it more humorous? If anybody would like, or even Raghavendra, you could try. Think how this is how we rewrite a script. Never be satisfied with your first version of this script. You'll have to keep rewriting it to make it more humorous.
Toastmaster Sudeshna here. I would like to try.
Yes, Sudeshna. Please go ahead.
Nowadays, whenever I'm cutting the tomatoes, I'm crying. Look at the price. It's good to cut the onions instead of tomatoes.
Okay, so a different version of the same tomato and the onion. Great attempt. Let's give Raghavendra and sorry, I missed your name again.
Sudeshna.
Sudeshna. Okay, let's give Sudeshna also a good round of applause. Anybody else? A different take on the same line.
This is TM Krishna here. So my
Yes.
take is something similar. So looking at the price of tomatoes, the tears from onion feels like.
Okay, so great attempt again. So let's give him a good round of applause. Here is something which we are missing. We are revealing the tomato right at the beginning.
Yeah, can I try?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Since I'm
Priyanka this
sharing
side.
the screen, I don't get to see all your names. So please, yes.
Yeah,
Please, Priyanka. say it.
Toastmaster Priyanka this side.
Yes.
So I was cutting the vegetable, but this time it's not onion. You know what? This time it's tomato, which made me cry.
Okay, so great attempt. So the tomato came. So we are rewriting the script. You could see the difference, right? So the tomato has now come to a little. There is a suspense element, right, coming in. Okay, that's it. Anybody else?
Hi,
Praveen, yes.
Kunal.
While playing, Pandit Jakir Hussain do not use this finger. You know why? Because this is my finger.
Okay. Okay, not on the same example, but this is an attempt for the power of pauses. So you could see a perfect pause there, like he said, don't use this finger because, and you would be thinking there was a couple of seconds of pause given there, right? Which made you think, okay, what could be the reason? And then the answer was revealed that because it's my finger. So that's another perfect example. That 2-3 seconds, which makes audience to think. Okay, so let's go back to the onion and tomato. Anybody else?
Hi, this is Toastmaster Kunal.
Yes, Kunal.
So on the similar lines, what we already heard, I was in the kitchen chopping my vegetables. They were making me cry. Oh, the prices of tomatoes, I tell you, they're skyrocketing.
Perfect. So again, the suspense element of tomato coming in a little later. Okay. So I'm just going to take a wild attempt on this. So whenever I cook, usually it is others who cry. But this time, while I was chopping the vegetables, I was crying. It was not the onion.
Hello.
It is the tomatoes. Yes, somebody said a hello. Want to try?
Yeah, this is TM Alan Carrasco, but for this I need to put
Yes.
my camera on. So
No
I have to
issues.
retry that onion joke, right?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was recently making a salad. I know the people that know me would find it very weird that I was making a salad. And I noticed that I was crying. But here's the catch. I wasn't supposed to add onions. Guess why I was crying? Okay, let me break the ice. I was cutting tomatoes. Have you seen the price? I'd sell for that much.
Perfect. Another great attempt by Alan. So as you can see, we keep rewriting the speech and it gets better and better, right? So this is the exercise we'll have to do. So you write a line, you write a script, and then revisit it or rewrite it as much as you can to whatever you feel is the best part of the line. So in one of the Tall Tales contests, I remember that was a time where onions were at a peak of the price. So during the speech, I will be having an onion in my hand, and as I'm speaking, there is a moment where I feel frustrated. So whatever is in my hand, I just throw it. So I just throw the onion, and after throwing the onion, I just say, "Oops, there goes my 1 day salary." After throwing the onion, I just add a line that there goes my 1 day salary. So that was that just came in as a one-liner in the speech, not actually the original script. But then just when I mentioned there, and since it was rocket price for onions at that time, that came in as a good laughter. So likewise, let's look at a couple of other techniques to pauses. Just before you deliver that keyword, just give those pauses. A descriptive comparison. There are characters in your speech. It's a story, right? So definitely have characters in your speech, even for if you want to describe something about your experience or anybody else, give them a visual imaginary. So when you're speaking, it should run like a movie in their mind. That entire 7 minutes should run like a movie in their mind. So to do that, you could give them a descriptive visual description. And when you do that, it can be a humorous way too. I'm sure nobody has seen my mother, but if you need to imagine, have you seen Tom and Jerry? All of you have seen Tom and Jerry, right? So in that they show them, there is a lady with a mop. Often she comes in, they never show their face. Often she comes in and she screams at Tom that Thomas. Now imagine and fix a face for that lady, and that's my mother. Right, so something relatable, and I am making you to think and making you to imagine something which I want you to. So in a fun way, you can do a comparison of something else that would also have them laughing. A rule of three, where again, if you look at it, all these elements are or techniques are interlinked. When you use a power of pause, that is pause. When you use a rule of three, it's like you say one, two, which is kind of expected, and then the third, which is least expected. So in that format, when you say that third least expected word or element in that line, that brings in humor. For example, I had a lot of dreams when I was young, that when I reach 40, I will have a lot of cars, a lot of money, and a lot of hair. Right? So a lot of car, a lot of money. So you're referring to things which you would like to possess. And then the third was like a lot of hair. So a surprise element there. And just before you say that surprise element, a pause that would also add the suspense. This again interlinked, right? So you're taking them, you are setting it up. When I was young, I used to have a dream. I wanted to have a lot of cars. I wanted to have a lot of money and a lot of hair, a pause. And then today, I'm happy to tell you that at least one dream came true. Yes, I am 40 years now. So that's the surprise element. You're saying that I wanted to have a lot of cars, a lot of money, and a lot of hair when I'm 40. I'm happy to tell you that one dream came true. So what will you be thinking? It could be money, it could be car, definitely not hair, because you can see that. And then I say that actually the dream which got achieved is actually becoming 40 years. So a surprise element in the joke and a wordplay. So this is something which I really love, being in Toastmasters, and again a difference when it comes to stand-up comedy, where it's more of pulling or putting someone else down, whereas here the language, using English as a language itself to crack the joke, right? So that also adds a lot of weightage to your script and the speech. Like for example, in my district winning speech, there is a moment where I need to express that I am feeling overjoyed or I am feeling very happy. And so the initial line which I wrote was, it was a hair raising moment. So because the topic or the theme is about hair loss, I wanted to talk about it is an hair raising moment to share that I am overjoyed. But later again, I was reworking on the script, rewrote the script. Final line which I delivered on that day during the contest was, and it is a girl from my office asking me out. She's asking me to join her to a club in that day evening. That is the moment I feel that it's a hair raising moment. But later, instead of hair raising moment, what I used, the line which I used in the speech was like, I could feel that there is love in the hair. I said, and then love in the air. So hair versus air there, it brought in, I could see live, and it brought in a surprise element, and also because of the wordplay, hair, there was a laughter. And then what kind of a jokes? It's best or it's easy. Again, stand-up comedy, usually it is about degrading or about someone else, teasing someone else, right? Self-deprecation. Make yourselves the victim, others would love to laugh. This is like during your college days, right? So, or school days, if you remember, if one of your friends had just tripped down and had just fallen down, what do you think is the first reaction? We'll help them, but that's much later. First reaction is to laugh at him, right? Or laugh at her, and then probably we'll give an helping hand. So likewise, remember this one line. If you put yourselves down, the chances of audience laughing for your speech will be up, up and up. So put yourselves down, the chances of audience clapping for you will be really, really high and really, really up. So let you be the victim, showcase yourself as it could be anything. For me, in that speech, it was about hair loss. It could be about job loss. It could be about marriage. It could be about being a father. It could be about being a boss or having a boss. It just can be anything. But show yourself as the victim. It will be a wonderful opportunity for audience to laugh, because that is the mindset everybody will be in. You are putting yourselves down there on the stage. They are having fun at the cost of you. And just like how initially I just put two of my images and said, find 6 differences. They will love to have fun at the cost of you. So do that, enjoy that, and take that opportunity to make them entertained or make them laugh. As we were going through these techniques, I could see a couple of them raising hands. So if there is anything, if you'd like to ask or question, you could, and then we will get into the next part of it.
Okay, Toastmaster Raghavendra here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I have a question regarding power of pauses. Like if you use these pauses multiple times, so it becomes like audience become predictable and the joke won't crack. So we need to crack audience as a off guard and kind of surprise. So what should be the duration of that pauses and how frequent you can sometimes use pauses and sometimes it should catch as a off guard. Because one example I had given in my speech, it was regarding cinema. So I used rule of 3 technique. One of my friend asked me, I am going to watch this Adi Purush. So I had called him, why are you going to watch movie Adi Purush? Do you like Prabhas, Ramayana or bad movie? So I didn't take this pause and cracked it. So it caught as an off guard to audience and they laugh. So how should we have this frequency of pauses in the speech?
In fact, you're saying that you did not use pause. Even there, like when you said the rule of 3, but just before you said bad movie, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, you would have given at least a fraction of second of pause. It comes in the flow. Nobody in the audience would even realize that there is a pause. You're not forcefully inserting a pause. It just comes in the flow. That a fraction of second of pause compared to the other 2 words.
Yes.
Prabhas, Raman or bad movie. That's it. So compared to where you said Prabhas and Ramayan, if there was only, let's say, 0.25 seconds pause, here it's 0.3 seconds pause. That's all it is.
Yes.
You're just extending it a little bit. That's it.
Yes.
Just before they say that, because the joke in the entire line is bad. Right? So that is how it works.
But should we always practice or sometimes it's good to go in continuation and quiet audience in surprise and off guard? So
No, pauses doesn't mean you'll have to just pause the speech abstractly and then like pause the speech today, come back tomorrow and then deliver the third word. Not that
Joe, sorry for the interruption, Joe, because we do not have a timer, but I just thought that I would sound you off. Probably another 10-15 minutes. And we've got a question and answer much later on. Maybe another 10-15 minutes for this. Thank you so much.
Sure, Lance. I'm keeping a track of time.
Thank you.
Right. So there are a couple of questions in the chat box, which we will take it later so that we will not lose time here. We will address it later. So please do be patient. So pauses is just the flow of the speech, just like using body language or let's say your expressions. You don't stop your speech and then react. Reaction is part of the speech, right? That body language or the expressions or enacting which you do is part of your speech. So that's how naturally the pauses should come. It's not like you give such a long pause that every time you pause, audience know that, okay, now this guy is going to tell a joke. Not that. It should be that natural that compared to the other two or whatever you're saying before that, you just say the next word with a little bit of extra pause. That's it.
Thank you. Got you. Thank you.
Perfect. So let's quickly jump into looking at a few support materials which we could have. A title. Many of us believe that it is just a 7-minute speech. No, your title can also be new titles, because even before you begin your speech, your audience, I mean, the contest chair is announcing your title. Even from that moment, you can grab your audience attention. One of my most favorite speech titles, I mean, not the winning speech in the district, but it's like a previous other speeches. And a lot of this education session, I keep saying this also, is my favorite title is Don't Kiss. The entire speech is about acronyms. Keeping it short and simple is what I talk later during the speech. But now just imagine how the contest chair is going to announce me or call me to the stage. Okay. Contestant number 3, Toastmaster Joe. Don't kiss. Don't kiss, Toastmaster Joe. I haven't even started my speech. I can already see audience laughing, giggling. We mentioned earlier about the power of opening, right? So this is even before that. Even before you open the speech, you have set the tone. You have made your audience ready to listen to your speech. They know that, okay, there is something interesting coming. So have a tricky, interesting, catchy title. Reference to Toastmasters. 99% of your audience are going to be Toastmasters. Any reference to Toastmasters jokes which you make will be fresh jokes also. It will not be available on the internet. That's one. And second, they can easily relate and have a great audience connect. And the other support materials, props. Props refers to not just the materials which you use, even your attire, head to toe, whatever you could do to make sure that it's a humorous speech. In my district winning speech, this was just a last minute thought. I was still thinking of some t-shirt which has something to do with hair loss is what I wanted to wear. I couldn't find it, and I was thinking and thinking on what to wear. Finally, I found a hoodie. I was still not sure like how this works, but then I just wore that hoodie and I had my head covered in that. Just when I introduce the topic that it's about hair loss, right? I just remove the hoodie and showcase my beautiful shining head. Even that induced humor. So that, and so many of them before my speech were wondering, why is this guy wearing a hoodie? So head to toe, anything you could do to make it humorous, and also support materials like how I in my speech used a wig. There was a couple of other materials like hair oil, whatever, which could amplify your speech. So quickly, in the last few minutes, let's try it out. I have a few sentence, and we are going to attempt the same. We are almost at the end of it. So last 10 minutes we have. So I just want to express that there is a girl or a lady in my speech, and I want to refer or express that she is beautiful. So you could use any of the techniques which we just saw, or anything from your experience also. Just give it a shot. How do you think we can make this humorous, this line? You can type it and put it in the chat box, or you can just unmute and say it. To save time, you can just unmute and say it. How do you think we can? You can use any of the techniques which are used. The power of 3, anything which I just want to express that there's a character in my speech, and I just want to express that she is beautiful. How do I? If typing takes time, you can just unmute and share. So think. Okay, so answers are coming in. Okay, she is beautiful, but in a parallel universe, Ranjit. Okay, good attempt to start with. Anybody else? Because she is beautiful, but not here, not with me. In a parallel universe. Okay, who else?
Out
Can
of
you
my
think?
league.
Out of my league. She is beautiful, but out of my league. Okay. Okay, she is beautiful when I don't wear specs. Okay. So indirectly telling that she is not beautiful. Okay. That's a different take. Okay. What else?
Toastmaster Sudeshna here.
Yes, Suresh.
She is fool. Oops, sorry. Not that English fool, Hindi fool. Oh, she's beautiful.
Okay. So a bit of wordplay here. She's fool, not that fool, what you thought. Like she's beautiful. Okay.
Hi, Toastmaster Kunal here.
Yes, Kunal.
She's beautiful, fully obsessed with her collection of mismatched socks.
Okay, she's beautiful with the collection of mismatched socks. That was Kunal. We have Tamanna in the chat box. Because beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Okay. Here is
Joe,
a couple of attempts.
Joe, can I give it a try?
Yes, Lancy, why not?
She is beautiful until she opens up her mouth. Then it gets ugly.
That's it. You don't need to explain the rest, right? She is beautiful until she opens her mouth. All right. So good attempts. Let's give ourselves a good round of applause. Here are a couple of my takes, so my attempts on it also. A different version, not just we need to. I just need to express this, right? So she is fair and lovely, whereas I am someone who need a lot of fair and love. I'm just still self-deprecating myself. It could be about my complexion, where I say she is fair and lovely, but I am someone who need a lot of fair and love. Here is another take, power of three or the pauses. You could see here the surprise element. You could see her. She is so good looking that she looks beautiful. Where? She looks so good looking that she is beautiful even in her Aadhaar card. And that's just when you think, okay, that is it. The photocopy of the Aadhaar card, she looks so beautiful. So that's how you take your audience by surprise. And this is just an attempt here. Now, let me go back to my humorous speech. There is a similar scenario. Somebody a little while back when I showed that 6 differences also mentioned that they remember Hindu. So that was a character which I had in the speech just for 20 seconds, but a lot of them have forgotten me, but nobody has forgotten Hindu. It's almost 3 months, they still remember Hindu. The opening, this summarizes almost everything which we went through. This is how my opening was. This is how the techniques which I used was, I'm just sharing the opening 30, 40 seconds of my speech. All we did here was the script, right? So the script part of it, the delivery also we will have to look. Hindu is beautiful. Hindu is wonderful. Even the smell of Hindu makes me feel this is exactly what I did in the first 10 seconds. What I did was, it wasn't just she, there is a character Hindu. Then there is nothing I'm describing here. I'm just saying Hindu is beautiful, Hindu is wonderful, even the smell of Hindu is wonderful. And then all those who have heard the speech already would know it, what the suspense is. And then I say, Contesse Velotes Masters Entrance. The full name is Hindu Leka Hair Oil. So that's where I introduced the Hindu, which is actually Indulekha hair oil. The rest of that was enough. That moment the laughter came in was enough for the rest of the speech. Every time I talk about though the indirect theme was about hair loss, the title was I like the way you're thinking. There was many moments I made audience to think a particular way, and then I say, this is not what I meant. And then I say, I like the way you're thinking. So if you look at the word, I mean, the phrase, I like the way of thinking, actually there is no humor. But every time after saying the joke, when I said, I like the way of thinking, there was added humor. You might want to have a look at the judge's ballot also. So this is how, just like in any speech, this is how your humorous speech would be judged. However, in nutshell, if you want to just win the humorous contest, this is what you need to look at it. After writing and rehearsing the script at your level, not during the speech, at your level, according to you, just have a look at the script and the speech and find out how many laughter moments do you have per minute. You have 7 minutes, let's say 2-3 laughter moments per minute. So it means around 20 to 23 laughter moments that entails an speech. If you're ever wondering that what if audience don't laugh, there might be some jokes where they might not laugh. So have as many laughter moments as you can, so that at least even if they laugh for 50% of the laughter moments, still it's around 10 to 15 jokes. So have as many laughter moments as you can. That's how you have to rewrite the script. If you think this is not enough laughter moments, add, rewrite. To summarize, as I said earlier, all you need is for a humorous speech is joke. No, just joking. Be joyful. You got to enjoy that 7 minutes. You need to enjoy that 7 minutes in a way that your audience, when they look at you, that it will transfer. It's like a mirror reflection. They will also enjoy. Be joyful. And you should be able to summarize your entire speech. This is in the early stages of preparation for the speech. Create a series of one-line summaries. In one line, you should be able to summarize what my speech is. So out of that 3-4 ideas, pick whatever you think is the best idea, convert that into a full-length speech story. And as I already said, the objective is to entertain the audience and have as many jokes. This is where I was saying that maximum laughter moments, this would be the edge. If there are 2 speakers, both of them are really good, they've done a wonderful job. One person has like almost every 20 seconds, 30 seconds, there is a laughter moment, versus there is another person for almost 2 minutes, there is no laughter moments. Whoever had more laughter moments would have a edge. Keep the jokes universal. You might be, especially when you're participating online, right? Your audience could be from anywhere from the world, at least for the judges. It will be from the district. So at least keep the jokes universal, Indian, so that they can relate to. If you're sharing something which nobody can understand, or if it's too limited to your Toastmasters club, your city, they may not be able to relate. Make sure that it's in form of a story and come up with a catchy, quirky title that would definitely catch your audience attention even before the speech begins. With this, all of us, I'm not just joking, all of us can be the king of humor.
Right.
With that, I end my session and hand it over to Lancy. We will, if you have any questions, we will take it later when we have a Q&A session.
Yeah, we've got a session much later on, but thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to appreciate he wasn't really joking. He meant a lot of things. Right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, digitally, please show your appreciation. Can we make some noise for our speaker, the trainer that we had, Joe Rajan? Please join me. Right, okay, great. We've got the next session coming up, which is the club success plan, right? DTM Dinesh, I just want to ask you, are you going to take 30 minutes, right? So that we tell everybody in the room that you're going to take 30 minutes, correct?
Yes, I'll try to give few minutes back, but plan for 30 minutes.
No worries. So you can only holler on, or you tell me, because we do not have a timer. I'm your unofficial timer, nothing official about it. But you can tell me, is that okay if I put it at 26 minutes, 28 minutes, and at 29?
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
just give you a holler and I'll say that. All right, fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got that. I'm sure everybody in the room understands that as we keep spearheading